Hi, everybody. This is Adam Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology, and these are your horoscopes for the month of June 2019. This is the Sun and Rising sign horoscope for Scorpios, and I'm going to go through this in about 5 minutes or less this month. I'm kind of behind on schedule with my horoscopes this month, thanks to a big professional astrology conference I had at the end of May. So a little shorter this month, but it's a good month to do it because the transits are really kind of neatly organized into two little clusters. The first one is a long, slow, kind of smoldering transit from your ruling planet Mars, opposing Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn across the ninth and third house axis. Now, the ninth and third house axis both have a lot to do with the mind, with beliefs, with the kinds of beliefs or wisdom that guide your life, both in a kind of cosmic sense and in a more everyday environmental sense. And we see a pretty intense level, what appears to be a pretty intense level of conflict or, kind of confrontation and emotionally charged dynamic that's coming through. Mars Saturn can be very disciplined, but it can also be about, when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. It can be very explosive and, kind of banging, like what are the mountain goats or whatever, the rams that bang their heads together. This month has that feeling to it a little bit for everybody, but for you across the ninth and third, it may have to do with things like teachers, learning, spirituality, or religion, that you may be experiencing this energy while you're traveling. So you want to be a little bit careful while traveling, especially not to get into provoking arguments with strangers on buses or trains, or like just stay away from drama while traveling right now. Be careful of the road ragers, all of that stuff through, especially the 13th to the 21st of the month. That's when this is perfecting. And Mercury is going to get on this on as well, right around the 21st when the oppositions perfect. And that's when you want to be really careful, because this could be one of those more mentally and emotionally kind of combustible situations. At the same time, transformative, thought-provoking, emotionally renewing and regenerative experiences. This could be a month where you have to have some of those difficult conversations or ask some of those difficult questions and move through a period of mental strife or turmoil and come out feeling like renewed and like you really learned a lot from the process. So I don't think it's all bad, but you do want to be careful because that Mars is not in good dignity, and it's opposing Saturn and Pluto, which is, wow. Well, that's what I said we're going to see it in the news. I've been saying that through all these horoscopes. We'll see that transit in the news this month. The good news is that the sun in Cancer the sun will enter Cancer right at the summer solstice on the 21st, right as those oppositions are finishing. And you should have clarity, nurturing, kind of more upbeat emotional vibe entering the ninth house to help you process or integrate some of those experiences if they've been rough. So that's good news. The other thing that's really important to look at here is, okay, so we've got a bunch of T-squares happening, right? You've got Jupiter in the second house, Neptune in the fifth, and then a bunch of planetary transits in your eighth house in Gemini activating this T-square. It starts on June 3rd with the new moon in Gemini in your eighth house. June 9th and 10th, the sun will create the T-square. Then you've got full moon in Sagittarius activating it on June 17th, and then Venus in Gemini on June 22nd and 23rd. So it's really all month long that these T-squares are being stimulated, some more closely than others, but you're in the ballpark of these places being really dynamically engaged with one another this month. So second house has a lot to do with income and resources. The fifth house, joy, pleasure, creativity, children, and happiness and sort of good fortune. In the eighth house, death, loss, penalties, but also other people's money or resources that come to us somehow from the misfortune or even death of other people. So interesting topics, right? Those are the things that are going to be really activated. There could be some real growth this month financially. That's a positive. There could be a big sale, a big purchase, the paying off of debt. There could be trying to financially help a child, or dealing with some kinds of charity, or kind of trying to use your resources to help others, or someone else using their resources to help you. It could bring up issues around finances in a relationship that are more intense. financial philosophy could be changing quite a bit. You could also be looking at the consequences of some kind of frivolous spending pattern. So be careful not to overindulge in things. And also generally what you spend your time, money, energy, and resources on. And, sometimes we we have to sort of pay a bill. The eighth house will sometimes just say like, knock, knock, taxes are due. And it's a tax that has to do with, different kinds of lifestyle choices that we make over and over again that eventually add up. So this is a good time to also adjust or shift your philosophy into something healthier if you need to, in terms of how you spend your time and energy, how you're defining fun or pleasure. Those are really important as well. So, again, the potential for, I think, some windfalls or some kind of breakthrough around finances is there as well. So I don't mean for it to sound all negative. But that's what I've got for you, Scorpios. 2 kind of compact transits. I love to hear from you and hear how it's going. We'll be more in-depth next month because we got eclipse season coming up, which is going to reiterate that 9th and 3rd house axis that we talked about at the start. So that should be interesting. All right, we'll see you next month. Take care. Bye.